Well, hi everybody. As he said, my name is Rebekah. I'm a second-year animal science major, and I got the chance to go to Japan for the winter break, and I just want to share just a little bit of some stories and what I got out of the trip. So first of all, I was just so excited to be able to go on a vision trip. I have been on a couple other missions trip with like my church and other stuff like that before, but I think it's a lot different in the context of going with like a college ministry and being able to go and speak to people who are the same age as you and kind of going through similar life stages as you. So yeah, I was just really blessed to go and see what doing stint would look like if I chose to go there for long term. So just to start off, I think going into the trip, I didn't have any expectations. I didn't really know what to expect from a vision trip. I didn't really hear from other people who had gone in them, like what they did. So I kind of just went in open-minded and just hoping that God would use me as an open vessel, empty vessel, just to be able to pour into these people. So one of the first things that, I think one of the biggest things that I took away from the trip is understanding how being an Asian American in an Asian country is so important. And I think I heard a lot about it before I went. I was like, when I was talking to people were like, oh, like going to an Asian country and being Asian, like you can relate to them. Like simple things like using chopsticks and like relating to how your parents like have pushed you your entire life. Stuff like that is like stuff that I was able to just like really feel like connected with the people I was talking to. And I think like going sharing at one of the colleges, it's called Doshisha, and it's like a private school. And I remember going in there, and Tim, one of the stinters, you might have saw in the video, he was just telling us before we went in, he was like, there's only so many people who can walk onto this campus the way that you guys can, because of the way we look, the way that we act, and the way that we just look like another Japanese college student walking on the campus, because they had security, and you know, it is an open country, but there is some people who weren't able to get on that campus the same way that we were able to, and just be able to sit down and share with the people. So I just want to share one of the stories that happened when the times I went sharing at Doshisha. And so I actually went sharing with Tim, the stinter, and we sat down with a group of 2 girls and a guy, and they didn't know English super well, so the conversation was a little slow, but Tim pulled out Solarium, and if you guys know Solarium, it's just a bunch of like 50 cards with different pictures on them, and we laid them out for them, and Tim was asking them, you know, some just basic general questions like, oh, like choose cards that would describe your life right now. And one of the questions he asked later was something along the lines of choose 3 cards that really just show like what you're looking for in life, or things that bring you joy, things that you want in life. And most of the people, the 2 girls, chose the cards where it has like the wedding dress and the old couple holding hands, and that classic coffee cup with a smiley face, if you guys know. So they chose like those like very happy cards, and like Tim asked them to explain why they'd chosen them, and a lot of them said like, oh, I just want to grow old with somebody and like have someone to love me and love someone, and just be happy. And I think that even though we have a lot of cultural differences, I think Japan is a little different than like even like I grew up in mostly like Chinese culture, and I think even that differs. But I think that we were able to relate. I think every human being just wants to be loved, and I think being able to connect over something like that's so universal. Every human, you know, we all connect over that. And they were just explaining with, you know, smiles like, oh, I just want to have like a girlfriend, you know, and like, so then Tim asked them after they had explained, he was like, so you have these pictures, and how do you obtain this joy? How do you get to be happy in life? And the 3 they kind of sat there, didn't know what to say. They had like these kind of confused looks on their faces, and Tim was like, yeah, that's a tough question, right? It's hard to know what brings us, how do we get this joy? And he started to explain like you know how I get my joy is through Jesus and through his love, and how I know that no matter how many times I mess up, how many times I fail, he'll love me, and he loves me forever, and he'll continue to forgive me, and I can find eternal joy, that fulfillment that I think a lot of us are looking for. I can find that in him. And the people, the students we were talking to, they didn't say much, but I really felt that we had planted that seed, and we had really been able to, it hit something in them, because I think they really realized that without any help from God, they were lost. A lot of them were looking for that. So I think that was one of the coolest things that I was able to see. And I know that, I think going into the trip, I was thinking a lot like, oh, I want to have like these gospel presentations. I want to talk about spiritual things with these people. Like, I know it's not about the numbers, but I still want to be able to do that. And I think at that point I realized that God has sent each one of us for a specific reason and a specific purpose. And even if that's just planting the seed, the first initial thing that they hear, that's something. And I just want to share a story that Tim shared at our last debriefing before we left. There's this Japanese Christian who's there now, and he works closely with he's a student, he works closely with Tim and the other stinters. Tim shared his story how 4 years ago, one of the summer mission teams that Epic sent actually talked to this guy, and he's a philosophy student at like one of these really prestigious universities, so he's, contemplating life. He's got a lot of like big questions in his head. And at that time he was going through a hard breakup, and felt really depressed and really lonely. And this summer mission team came and they told him about God, and like that was the initial seed. But over the summer mission, he didn't come to know Christ. He didn't accept God into his life. But now, seeing him 4 years later, being so involved in everything that we were able to do, like he was at sports ministry, and that was one of my favorite parts because I love sports. But just seeing him being so filled with joy and like really finding that fulfillment after he was at such a low place was just so cool. And something that Tim shared was like, if that summer mission team hadn't been there to talk to him, just to plant that initial seed, would he still be alive today? Would he still like be here? And I think that really hit me hard, because seeing someone that like was just so full of joy and so excited about the gospel, and like his life was completely changed, and that's because one group of people decided to talk to him. And I think that's another big takeaway that I took from the trip, is that you don't know where a person is on their spiritual journey, especially when you meet a stranger. You have no idea where they are, if they've heard about the gospel or if they have heard it a million times and just don't accept it. But being there on summer missions and realizing that you could be that person that plants the seed, and you can change somebody's life, and you wouldn't even know it. Like, I don't even know if the guy who talked to him knows about it today. But I think that it's so cool that God is, even if you don't feel like it, God has placed every single one of us on this earth at this time for a reason. And even if you don't feel the call to missions, or you've done missions before, or you are in love with missions, like I still encourage all of you to just try to go on a VT or summer mission, because I thought this experience was so eye-opening, and I had such a wonderful time just being able to make friends. We had like a jazz night, and I love jazz and music, and I talked about sports ministry, and just seeing what it would be like to live in a foreign country for a year or two, and experience the culture and the food and the fun, while also making a difference and just adding on to this community of believers that we have on this earth. And just going back to my first story with the students at Doshisha, we're all human, and we all have that same desire and for fulfillment and for love. And I think that just being able to connect over that, like we're all the same underneath, and God sees us all the same. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I'll invite Ben up.